Analytics. It is the basis of growth in any company. It is said that if you torture data enough, it will reveal anything. So I'll not emphasize on the importance of data and analytics. If you don't know it by now, then you are doing something wrong. But what I want to talk about today is how analytics needs to be done. There are numerous tools that provide deep analytics of website and social media handles. So how can they help companies? What are the metrics that need to be tracked? And how is AI impacting the analytics industry? We'll be discussing all these things and more in today's episode of the LinkedIn podcast. And to discuss this, I have invited Harshit Kalra. Harshit is the sales director at SimilarWeb. He has over 7 years of experience and has worked in various industries like news, media, real estate, marketing and retail automation, and SaaS digital intelligence. So let me give you a brief about SimilarWeb. SimilarWeb helps companies with competitive intelligence around traffic engagement, market share, marketing mix, search intelligence, competition and intelligence, and end-to-end social traffic intelligence. So welcome Harshit. Welcome to the episode of LinkedIn podcast. How are you doing today?
Thanks. I think the pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me today. And yeah, super excited to be here. Of course, IPL is gearing up today. So yeah, super excited to see the match after a long time.
Okay.
So yeah, yes.
All right. So you are a cricket fan also. Okay.
So to be very honest, I think the entire India is a cricket fan. So and after seeing Dhoni coming back and
Yeah.
the way how he probably goes about, I think he is probably the best marketer that you see, right? Like
Yeah.
retiring at 729. So today there were a couple of memes, floating around, which
Okay.
actually were like, okay, he retired at 729. He's getting back after an X number of days, and he's
Yeah.
back in action at 7:30. That's typically the match timings today.
Okay.
So yeah,
Great.
pretty much yes. So that's the case.
Yeah. So this IPL season will help you in this lockdown scenario as well. Yeah.
I think it probably okay. So keeps you slightly busy. So to be very honest, like we all went about watching out all the shows. So I think last few months was all about watching out more and more shows and getting the things rolling. But I think this would be probably another one. But I think it gets you more exciting, and you probably are able to understand all these things. Like I
Okay.
personally feel that it gets you more engaged. So that's the case.
Great. So Harshit, let me start this podcast by asking you about your professional journey. Harshit, I think there's a problem in the connection. Now it is fine. Okay. So, yeah, let me start by asking you about your professional journey. So, can you take us how you came to be the director at SimilarWeb?
So I would say probably I started my journey pretty early in college. So when I was in college, I used to work with a company called Let's Intern, which was into youth activation. So
Okay.
I worked with the South office, which was led by one of the mentors that I probably still talk every day to understand what I should do. So went about working with him very closely, and in college, someone taking you to an office of PepsiCo, Viber, etc., and getting such big deals signed. So signed up pretty much all the big brands in the youth community. We signed out all the big brands, like we had Viber, we have Aditya Birla, we had PepsiCo, we had young age brands like Trafline. We used to work with JBL, etc. So pretty much got a nag about understanding what are the few matrices, what these companies look at, etc. And it was first year of my college. Then I actually, while I was building this up, met a couple of people, realized there's a problem around searching out flat and flatmates, because I am from Agra. I moved to Bangalore for my college. So went about building out India's largest community of flat and flatmates with Gunjan, who is currently running Big Class. So we actually went about solving a problem of finding out flat and flatmate, and it was more like we used to charge a fee, and we used to go about it. Went about doing it for a year and a half, and then I used to work out of a cafe with Gunjan. I met one of my other co-founders with whom I started out the first food tech company called Spoonfed. So Spoonfed was a food delivery platform which used to deliver food. And at one point of time, we were larger than Swiggy. We were the largest food
Okay.
delivery company in India. Of course, having said that, we did some mistakes. Those guys got some things better, and Swiggy right now, and for
Yeah.
what they are and what they have done. But we went about learning. So it was a huge learning, understanding the food tech, understanding the unit economics, how to go about chasing up numbers. Though still, of course, food tech companies still make almost like a 70-80 rupees loss per order. But that time, it was a different game altogether. We were learning, and I would say, it was good learnings back then. Then, I came back, started working with Percept, which is, of course, the largest media group, also responsible for running Sunburn and all these type of events. Went about, at that time, I think it was In Short, which had raised out a $5 million check
Yeah.
from Tiger. So we were super excited. So I met Viraj Malik, who is the founder of PK Online. We knew each other, and then we just went about saying that what content is very hot, and we both were like, yeah, we should do something, and we conceptualized an app which was in read and earn concept, and the entire agenda was how we can get out things to tier 2, tier 3 market, and how can we get regional. Of course, considering internet was very expensive back then, so we went about getting the read and earn app, which is like you read news with us, we also monetize, etc. And we went about scaling it also to one of the largest apps. We were actually, having larger user base than ShareChat at some point of time.
Okay.
So we were typically ensuring that, so of course the idea was pretty much very straightforward. We didn't have raised VC funds. So, monetization was something that we had to do hand in hand, as we scale up things. While I was actually, working with Percept, went about understanding a couple of notification players, etc. And that's how I landed to my next job with one of the marketing automation companies called Beta Out. So went about working with the founders very closely. We went about, having almost like we were one of the largest players handling Paytm, Lenskart, and clients like that. And we eventually got acquired by a US retail automation company called Bluecore, where
Okay.
they used to handle clients like Under Armour, Nike, Jockey, etc. Handling end-to-end communication, understanding what should be the next communication, what should be the channel, should it be an email, should be an SMS, should be a mobile push, etc. So it was a very good journey, and specifically, I'll give a good shout out to the founders. They went about teaching me how things work, what are the matrices that you should look at as a SaaS company, what are the 5 things you should go about it, etc. So pretty much did a good I would say a deep dive for me in the SaaS space. And then while I was actually working with Bluecore, I happened to go for an event, and that's how Similar Web India happened. So
Okay.
I would say probably my last 3 jobs, or I would say all the 3 professional jobs, typically landed by meeting people up. So I typically tell everyone that you should meet, you should probably be very open.
Yeah.
And I really like the way how Sachin said the other day, Sachin Bansal, that if your idea is not spoken about or is so easily replicated, then it's not your idea, right?
Hmm.
So you should be open enough. You should be happy sharing out what you know. And if you probably are the expert, right, no one can do it better than you, right? It's all about doing it the best, doing it in the best way, optimizing it in the best format. And yes, it's also about some things someone has done better than you, that's why he is more successful, and you should probably accept that fact and make sure that you do it better. So that's typically something that I feel keeps you motivating, and you should probably follow it up. And yeah, so since last 17, 18 odd months, I've been with Similar Web India, went about scaling up their business. We were at handful of customers when I joined in. And today, when I look back, it's amazing journey. Went about signing out, and it has been a growth trajectory of almost 30 by 30 every month.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty much, yeah, like I'm loving the job. It's data intelligence, I probably breathe into data. I understand how each and every company is doing, how every website doing, how so yeah, it's pretty much a very exciting job. It keeps you motivating every time. So yeah.
Great, great. So when you talked about Flat and Flat Meets, were you talking about that Bangalore group? Flat and Flat Meets Bangalore.
Okay, no, so we actually worked on a platform called Roomies.in, which was into
Okay.
flat and flatmates.
Okay.
We were technically ensuring that if you land to Bangalore and you are searching out for a flat and
Okay.
flatmate,
Okay.
we were a platform. If you were searching out for PGs, we were a platform. We
Okay.
also had a rental model. So we were the one who was typically disrupting the real estate space slightly,
Yeah.
the housings, etc., were too large, in that game. So
Okay.
yeah, I would not probably say that we lost it, but I think they did it better. Is
No,
how I probably.
that's okay, and I find it very fascinating and very inspiring that you were, you had these ideas and you actually implemented those. So, Harshit, for the benefit of our listeners, can you talk about what SimilarWeb does? I know I've given a brief, but can you give a little bit more detail?
Yeah, so we are the largest digital intelligence company in the world. We help companies get insights across any app and any website. So let's say that if you are an X brand and you wanted to know about Y brand, what are they doing across search, social, display, referral, what are the pages that are being viewed most, etc. That's where we come into picture. We have been doing this for almost 13 years now. Fortunate enough to have investors like Naspers in the case. So yeah, so that's typically what we do, and we have been doing it better and better every day. I would say, like of course, being an Israeli company and having such a amazing team has been one of the reasons why things have gone. And of course, we have an amazing co-founder. Or
Yeah.
so he is a guy with a vision. He probably knows, like I've probably seen. So I met him in January. He knows when, like how to keep calm, how to focus on things. He's very down to earth. I've never seen such co-founders. So yeah, he's an
Great. I would
amazing guy.
love to talk to him as well. Okay. So there are numerous social media analytical and website analytical tools out there. How is SimilarWeb different from those or better than those?
Okay, I would probably say that the way how we probably think is data is only important when it's relevant. If you
Okay.
probably feel that the data quality is not of good level, you probably make wrong decisions. So
Yeah.
our data technically, is empowering clients like Taboola, Outbrain, all the big giants to make decisions. And when
Okay.
it's all about making decisions, the data that we have is technically the best in the market. Of course, there
Okay.
are a couple of tools which are providing out a couple of things, but it's all about at the end that is that trustable enough? Is the quality good enough to make a decision, right? Because if you're buying out an analytical tool, and if that data is not allowing you to make a decision or is making you have a double thought, I don't think so you should even consider that data, right?
Yeah.
Having the bad data is even worse. So
Yeah.
where we come into picture is we have been working very hard. We don't show the data if we are not even confident about. So we had a couple of features we launched. Due to some couple of changes, we rolled it back, right? So as a
Okay.
company, we are very, very particular when it comes to ensuring that the quality of data that we provide is top notch.
Okay, yeah, and you are absolutely right. Providing actionable insights through data is really important. If you don't know what you'll do with the data, and there are few tools which give out so much information, you get confused. You are not able to take any decision through that. So that's a very valid point. Point
I
in
would
a
probably
Yeah.
say even the quality. So a lot of people, in India specifically, and even I've sold out to the UK and the US market. What I like about people, there are some guys who probably understand that even if the product is doing X and doing it very, very well, is better than a product which is doing XYZ and not doing anything correctly, right?
Okay,
So
yeah,
maybe you trust an expert because generalist. I think there are hundreds of things which are on a generalist segment, and I don't think so that that is the way how you make decisions. If I probably am making out decisions tomorrow of spending out maybe like another $1 million, and I'm probably having a second thought on what I see in my data platform, I think I'm probably even putting myself in the very bad state, right? I
yeah.
probably am more confused about how to go about the next steps.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we know the importance of analytics, that it helps makes marketing decision, marketing strategies better. It helps you sell better, right? But what are the most important KPIs that a business needs to track? Let's say on SimilarWeb, what are the most important KPIs that your customers track?
I think one of the things that you probably need to benchmark is to understand, what are the few things that actually worked or didn't work for your competition. I'll give you a quick example. You might have, so what happens usually with the marketers, and this is something that I tell to all my clients, is you probably see your competition website every day. So you feel that, they are retargeting you right, left, and center. They probably have a sale which has done fantabulous because you've thought, right? So a lot
Yeah.
of people do this mistake is, your thought typically drives you with the a decision, right? Where you probably see the data, you understand, and when you see like a platform like us, right, we tell you exactly, was it even a success,
Okay.
right? Giving you a quick example, like one of my friend, he runs, he's actually a marketing head for one of the largest phone companies. And he said, you know what, my competition is probably spending so much money. I don't spend so much money. It's not the truth, right? So you are probably getting retargeted because you are visiting each and every property of him.
Yeah.
And he has a pixel installed. So that is making you see ads. That doesn't mean that they're spending a lot of money, right?
Okay.
They probably are in, or probably you are seeing all of their things, you're seeing that they're doing sales, etc. Is that sale even a success?
Yeah.
And specifically with the D2C brands, where everyone feels that running sales is like every third month they'll have some sale or the other. Is every sale a success?
Yeah.
What are the channels that are working, right? So there can be a company who probably raised out a $3 million and they want to acquire users. That doesn't mean you acquire users right, left, and center, and probably don't even acquire it in the right format, right?
Yeah.
Using digital effectively is something that we feel, we enable people to do. Of course, data quality is something that I pointed out. Of course, the freshness of the data is something that we also focus on. If you talk about the freshness of content, if you talk about the the freshness around keywords, or you would like to understand that which partners are working better, right? So those are few things that typically enable you for a grand success, right? So if you
Yeah.
know, is the competition move a success or not? If it was a success, what was the marketing channel backing it up? If it was an X marketing channel, which was the partner backing it up? So you need to understand the entire funnel rather than just taking decisions on an intuition is not the right way. And I see most of the marketers do that, and then they probably feel that they probably have done it, and then you probably want to make sure that you go about doing XYZ, and then you realize, okay, then this didn't work, and then you get to know that what, you probably tried out the wrong thing because you didn't have that type of an insight. You just felt it and you did it, right? So
Yeah.
I would definitely say that at Percept we did a couple of mistakes doing that, right? So we used to probably see a couple of apps and we used to feel that, okay, what, those guys are doing a very good job. And then, when we went about seeing at a platform like SimilarWeb, that's how I used the first time. We realized that we were doing better than them, right? Our
Okay.
organics were better, and at the end of the day, if you're probably building out something, it's all about organic growth,
Yeah.
right? Inorganic growth probably can be achieved, but over a period of time, if your inorganic strategies are not going low, and you're probably like burning money on each and every user, I don't think so. It's a very sustainable business. Probably yes, it's a good way to start. It's a good way to get known. It's a good way to get word of mouth. But over a period of time, if your organic numbers are not going up, there's a definitely a big problem.
Yeah.
So your
Absolutely. Yes.
CAGs need to be optimized. Uh, and yeah, thanks to Percept for teaching me up the CAG thought process. We used to run an ad network, so of course we used to understand how
Hmm.
probably a big brand is getting to a certain number, etc. So yeah, I think that's super duper important. Doing a reverse calculation, understanding whatever you're doing is correct. Are the numbers even matching up? Is your GMV typically getting attracted? I see a couple of great tools like Amplitude, Mixpanel, etc. Deep diving and even understanding the source versus the first step that a person is doing on your app or website, and right, then you're driving out decisions. Those type of things is something that typically is the next maturity curve.
Yeah. So let me summarize whatever you have said. So first is the organic growth. This is the most important KPI. Next comes learning from your competition, right? What kind of ads they are running. So these are the two important KPIs that can help you track whether uh, you are running a successful campaign, how you are acquiring users, those kind of things, right? Okay. And
I'll probably list it out
yeah.
in 4 steps.
Okay.
We typically enable you to make sure that all the like you benchmark your competition better. You understand what are the marketing channels. You understand what is typically driving growth, and the fourth thing is who are the partners which are driving growth. So if you get all
Okay.
the four covered, technically your entire overview of five would typically be in the right shape.
Yeah, very well summarized. Yes. So, guys, take note of these 4 points, and I'm sure when you check out SimilarWeb, you'll be able to analyze much better, metrics. Okay. And Harshit, what are the most underutilized metrics, right, that you see? Any marketing department or marketing professional uh, who does not utilize these are the important KPIs that they should be tracking, but they don't.
Okay, I usually don't come across too many because I see marketers specifically, being very, very smart these days. I even come across a lot of marketers who tell us that, they used out an X metrics and went about building out an entire, audience persona, right? So
Yeah.
I would not probably say that anything is that is on top of my mind, which is not being utilized.
Okay.
But I would definitely say that probably a couple of things that people have started using is more about how to go about understanding your user not only on your website but also understanding people what they're doing across, right? So maybe let's take an example that you probably own a Titan website, right? You probably would like to understand that what is the guy also doing. Is he probably ordering a cake from maybe a baking go or an ferns and petals? Is he going to various you know uh,
Yeah.
websites and for clothing, or is he liking Instagram more versus Facebook, or is he on Snapchat, or is he on maybe like a maybe like a Takatak, etc., right?
Yeah.
So you need to map out your user journey a lot better, and that would enable a good success. So I think a lot of marketers do
Okay.
that, and a lot of marketers typically make sure that if they're investing in a partner, they understand. So maybe you tomorrow know that what your users do. You probably would like to understand that the partner or the network that you're working with is having those type of websites which are even your visitors would be there, right? Rather than
Absolutely.
you running out a campaign and then realizing that, okay, you know what, there it was a wrong partner, etc. So I think where we come into picture, as well as it's a general understanding that you should know where are you spending even a penny. So that's how things roll.
Yeah, and that's a very valid point that you have mentioned, understanding the user's journey, because it helps you create those brand personas or target audience personas, which help you track where your, as you mentioned, where your target audience is going in their free time, where you should run those ads, where you should retarget those customers. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and Harshit, since you are into sales, let me talk a little bit about LinkedIn now. Since you are into sale, how do you utilize LinkedIn to generate more leads?
Okay, so that's a good question. So to be very honest, we actually also have a very good sales solution at SimilarWeb.
Okay.
Happy to talk about it. So we have the largest sales engine which tracks out all the websites. So how we go about using it up is we go about building out our entire lead funnel from the sales solution that we have. We even have like technographics, etc. So we understand the guys who are spending more on Google AdSense, the guys who are probably on an X ad network or Y ad network. So we understand the entire uh, you know target websites, I would say, and based on that target website, of course, uh, typically enabling us to reach out to those people. So we use LinkedIn pretty. Like I would probably say that we use it more from a front where we get to the first point of contact and book the meeting there itself. So we definitely even map out our messages that we send internally at the back end, right?
Okay.
If we have probably reached out an X brand, how many people we have reached out, what are the messages, is it on the first funnel, second funnel? We also use a couple of tools which typically enable us to do that. Plus, of course,
Okay.
we use a couple of tools for contact information as well. So that's typically how we are using it. Yeah, I understand that a lot of people would have sales navigators, etc. But considering our sales solution is better because we not only get you the marketing solution, but we also get the tech intelligence together. So it's marketing
Okay.
intelligence and the tech intelligence together that enables you to, I would say, build out a more account a targeted list. And if
Okay.
you have a more like if the smaller the funnel, it's easier for you to convert. So
All
that's
right.
typically where I would say that we get better
Okay.
results.
All right. Great. So I would love to check this sales solution of yours. I would definitely, after this podcast, I'll check it out. Okay. So
Sure.
during these 4 or 5 months, I have seen that many brands have started becoming active on LinkedIn. Earlier, LinkedIn was not very much utilized, but brands have started to realize this thing. Is SimilarWeb also very active on LinkedIn, or how are you utilizing LinkedIn in terms of your brand strategy or reaching out to your target audience?
So I would say that we do a lot of things around LinkedIn. So we go about making sure that we like there are a couple of things that we do. Of course, we do LinkedIn ads. We do a lot of LinkedIn activities, but also we feel that every one of us represent a brand, right? So
Yeah.
when I probably am there on LinkedIn, it's a SimilarWeb employee. So we ensure that we go about talking about it. We go about reaching out to people We also make sure that if we are posting out something very relevant, we are reaching out to those people, tagging them up. Plus, we also did a couple of activities in terms like we helped out a lot of people in mapping out their sales funnels by coming up with a lot of free Excels, right? So you just have to fill out that you want to understand say top 100 companies around e-commerce in say an X country, and you just fill out a report and we'll send you a free report, right?
Okay.
So we did a lot of
Yeah.
activities. So we feel that empowering people or making people know that what they can do with your solution and ensuring them that you're probably helping them is the
Yeah.
way to go, right? So it's all
Okay.
about educating the user and making sure that he probably believes in you equally as you believe in him, right? So it's all about a handshake these days rather than you just selling it up and just running it from there.
Yeah.
So I think that's typically the DNA of the company, and we have been very very focused on it.
Okay, great. So building trust with the customer, building brand awareness, and as an employee of your company, uh, you you are representing your company as you mentioned, and you are putting out that company culture of yours, so that customers are feel more engaged with you or more connected with you. Okay, great.
Exactly.
So Harshit, one question just now I thought ki, uh, what industries use similar web more? Is there, do you see a trend there that companies in this particular industry are more into analytics?
I would probably say everyone is probably building out good analytics pieces at the back end.
Okay.
Definitely, yes, education probably was the first one to understand, considering that education saw a boom over the last few months.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
would say that everyone technically, right? If you start from the OTT platforms to your health platforms to your, maybe like if you talk about the car rentals, you talk about even I think if you talk about even the traditional automobile companies, right? They probably like if you see all the Marutis, Kias, etc. They are spending so much money to make sure that they track out people. So I would not say
Yeah.
anything more specific, but definitely I would say that over the last few months, I've definitely seen healthcare, education, automobile, investing slightly more money in terms of analytics, etc.
Okay, all right. And now we have talked about industries, but post COVID, have you seen any changes in the trend in terms of analytics that have been, that the companies have been tracking this particular metric more than they were before?
Okay, so I'll keep it very candid. So, okay, before COVID, the numbers usually used to be if my numbers are X and I know my competition is 30% ahead. This year I probably have gone 30% up. He also might have gone an X% up.
Yeah.
So you need to map out those numbers.
Okay.
But I think where lockdown and the COVID came into picture, everyone was more keen at probably watching out competition, right? So
Yeah.
what we saw is now people were more cautious and more careful about understanding each and every competition move.
Okay.
So I think analytics probably came very handy because a lot of people wanted to track out their competition every day. I'll give you a quick example. Maybe you might be running let's take an example. You run a CPG brand, right?
Yeah.
And your competition also was, doing the same things. There was so much uncertainty around, when to go about sales, when was the right time to do this, when are the right product times, etc. So, a lot of people did that, right? So if you might have seen
Yeah.
a lot of brands came up with sales, were the sales effective or not? So I think probably post COVID, the data metrics have changed, right? There are a few
Yeah.
segments which have seen a crazy growth. So if you talk about like maybe uh, maybe like electronic marketplaces, I just did a post, right? They saw growth of like 271% over the last 3 months compared to the previous 3 months. Those type of growth was never expected, right? So if
Yeah.
probably you are sitting at a Reliance Digital or probably you are sitting at a Chroma, you probably want to track out the competition every day. You don't want to miss out the bus because it's getting very crucial, right?
Yeah.
Everyone probably is doing some activity or the other, right? And it's not just like earlier I remember it used to be like just sales, right? Which is like, okay, what, there's an independence sale, there's a big billion sale, etc. If you now see, right, you probably might see a birthday sale, right? One of the brands that probably I saw yesterday was running out their sixth birthday. They're a very large CPG brand, Plum Goodness, and they're very good products. They were running out a sale of sixth birthday, right?
Okay.
Like they were celebrating their own birthday and they had like so many people chatting about it. for a brand which is typically the competition wants to understand that, what is the scale metrics of this birthday sale? Should I even put out so much stress to celebrate my
Yeah.
birthday or not, right?
Yeah.
Or let's even for Chroma to understand that, if Reliance is probably scaling up, or say Reliance came up with a maha sale of, say, a Realme products, or they came up with an Apple product, etc. It was technically, like, if you might have seen, right, VC Reddington, typically, who is the partner for the iPhone 11 sale. Apple is coming up with a website. 23rd of September is the launch
Yeah.
date. You can clearly understand, right? This clearly shows that, even a brand like Apple, who had such a great channel sales, wants to make sure that he doesn't miss the bus, because he has seen MI, Realme, and all these guys, going off the roof during
Yeah.
the COVID times. Like, Realme products and OnePlus products are the most searched products post Apple in the COVID times. No one wants to miss out those type of things, right? So
Yeah.
I think, more from an analytical point, definitely yes. I would say, I think it has become more significant because there's more confusion, and you want to track out your competition. So you might feel that, the electronic sale is going up, but how much is a very big question mark, and that
Yeah.
is typically where the analytics typically come into picture.
Yeah, and post COVID, most of the businesses have been trying to come digitally, right? And digital sales have shot up like anything. So yeah, it would have also impacted this thing, that competition has become so fierce that you have to know what your competition is doing, and analytics is
Exactly.
the best way to get that data. So Harshit, coming to my last section, which is related to career in analytics, what do you think is the future in analytics? Is it going to be replaced by AI and machine learning? I'll give you one example. Google Analytics has been experimenting this thing for the past many years now. Where you can just write, what is my, where's my most traffic coming from? You just type it out and it gives you a report. So do you think that AI will replace human touch in analytics in the near future?
See, I would probably still say it again. The books were always there. It's all about the smart people reading the books and, being the forerunners. So it's not, I would not, of course, AI and ML would improve out analytics, but I think, get having data and running the data in the right way and implementing actionable insights is something which typically would remain, right? So
Okay.
I would still say that that is a long way to go, where you probably need to make sure that you might probably know where are the maximum users coming from, but at the same time, there can be another metrics which says, which are the users which are typically buying my highly profitable products,
Yeah.
or which are the ones which are typically buying out the recurring products, you know or maybe tomorrow you have a concatenation functionality which says, okay, what, I run a marketplace, and this product gets sold after this. That's typically the journey, right? So I think, things are too much, right? I think the user behavior is getting more and more interesting. I still feel that there's a very large scope. Definitely, I see a lot of things, with what you mentioned. I also see Google 360 and
Yeah.
all these guys getting to the A/B testing piece. Google Optimizer is also there. I also see Google Analytics typically shaping up. But I would still say that, they're like, books are always there, right? It's
Yeah.
all about, there would be some guy who will be reading it better.
Yeah.
And, Google might probably build out say, I'll give you a quick example. The way how, a marketer reads out traffic, right? One marketer is probably reading it up as, what's the total traffic for the month? Or the other guy is probably seeing out that, there's a Monday, Thursday, and a Friday, which typically are the top 3 days of this website. And I probably see that these days they don't advertise.
Yeah.
Or he probably realizes that, what, the last two sales that they did, whenever they did a sale on a Sunday, was typically more successful. Or probably, the partner that they worked on an X sale was more effective than the partner not, working on the previous sales. I think, there are tons and tons of things that would probably be there. And yeah, I think it would probably be another level. I think I'm probably learning a lot being at SimilarWeb. And, I think when I meet across marketers and I see, people doing out crazy things, it probably makes me more excited, because one of the things is, of course, coming from an automation space to an intelligence space, typically, of course, was slightly a discomfort, but, of course, you need to make sure that you stay up with the game. And I think data is gold.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you might have heard about it. Data is gold. You probably can make sure that you make out the same ornaments, the one who makes out the best will typically win.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's the case.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you gave this answer, because I also feel the same way. Because whenever technology has advanced, it has created more opportunities. There's not been any case that this technology has replaced humans completely. So I don't think that time will ever come, at least in the near future. So my final question, Harshit, would be any advice that you have to marketing professionals who want to make career in analytics right now?
I would say understand each and every user step.
Okay.
Don't be fascinated by crazy numbers that you see. You might probably not hit those numbers, but when you probably read out your user from the first step, when I say the first step, the first ad that they saw to the last attribution, they came to your website, to the last sale they did, how many sessions they do. I think a lot of people don't see the matrices. A lot of people probably pick out those matrices which are the generic matrices. The more you probably read out the customer patterns, you would definitely make sure that you make better decisions.
Yeah.
So I would not probably say it's an advice. I think a lot of people follow it up, but one of the things which I probably learned it from my current boss, and I would definitely call it out, is are you probably writing down your basics again and again and checking if you're doing the basic right?
Yeah.
So if you probably have an agile approach and you go back and you say, hey, you know what, I check out these 5 things before I even do the next steps, you probably over a period of time don't need to miss those 5 steps. If you're missing it up, you will definitely make sure that you probably will do some error or the other.
Yeah. Very,
So
very
getting
well,
the
very well
basics
said,
right.
Harshit.
So that's
Yeah.
very, very important.
Yes. So guys, by our discussion today, you would have understood the importance of analytics and what analytics can do, because companies right now are mad over data. They want to know what their competition is doing. So if you're not, doing analytics properly, start doing it and start checking out tools like SimilarWeb to get that accurate data, actionable, which provides you actionable insights. So yeah, this is what the entire episode was, and I hope you learned a lot from Harshit, because I did. Okay, and that brings us to the end of today's episode, and I'll be leaving the link to Harshit's profile of LinkedIn in the description below, and also the SimilarWeb website as well, so that you can check out and try out their free trial. I believe you have a free trial
Yes,
also, right?
yes. So we
Yeah.
have a
So
free trial. I think you guys can probably try check it out, and feel free. I can probably even give out my email address. So
yeah,
anyone has any questions, feel free to reach me out. And
sure.
yeah, happy to help. It's all about learning. I think I have probably learned out a few things today, and yeah, and I would still say that it's all about helping each other out, and that's how everyone grows. So in the ecosystem, if you want to grow, you need to make sure that you help others, so that when you need help, the other people also help you. So have that process. Don't think that it's your idea, or if you can probably help someone do it, right? If you
Yeah.
don't do it now, you probably might might probably get one step ahead, but another one step probably would not take you the long way. The
Yeah.
guy who probably has the basics right and probably is ensuring that he's helping people out, I think network also plays a very big game over a
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Very, very well said, Harshit. So, on this note, let's end today's episode. And thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you in the next episode of the LinkedIn podcast.